Hello, this is my creative lens. My name is Bobby. Nice to meet you. So, firstly, who am I? As I told you, my name is Bobby Accardo. Bobby is actually not my birth name. My birth name is Bianca Accardo, but as some people in the showbiz say, I have a stage name. Kind of like Lady Gaga or kind of like Beyonce, but a little dorkier. And that's how I like it. I like the name Bobby because growing up, I honestly just thought that the name Bob was really, really funny. I would kind of say it as a joke sometimes, like when someone asks your name when you're doing introductions in the circle at school. Sometimes you just throw out something wild. Sometimes you throw out a little Bob because it's a name that will get people to laugh. And I like that. I like that kind of charm to it. I like how when you think of Bob, you think about Bob the Minion. I like how when you think about Bob, you think about Bob's Burgers. You think about Bob Ross. Who else is on there? Bob Duncan from Good Luck Charlie, the Exterminator. And who doesn't like bugs getting exterminated? Actually, a lot of people. They're sweet creatures. But regardless, we also have people like Bo Burnham, whose real name is Robert. And you could call him Bob. The name's almost Bob, which is Bo. These are some people that kind of influenced me when I was choosing a name for myself because, I don't know, Bob's a builder. And if you need fixing, I need calling. So I thought that it was a pretty cool name. I thought that it fit my name. It fit myself. That name fit myself. And I liked it better than Bianca because Bianca was kind of always a feminine name. And I feel like I don't exude as feminine energy as the name gives off. Bianca also translates to pure white in Italian. And something about that through my last year when I decided to change that name just really didn't resonate with me anymore. I felt like I had grown into this person that is filled with challenges and filled with many different layers of personality that would not coincide with words belonging to pure. When I think about that, I think about a child. And I didn't feel like that anymore. I felt like someone who had grown up in a sense and become someone different. So those are some reasons why I decided to get a little nickname. You can, however, still call me by my old name. I go by the pronouns she, her, they. And did I write that on there? Forgot the they. But you can call me they. And I also am 22 years of age. I actually graduated high school a little later. I graduated out of I took a bunch of alternative schools. So I graduated out of Inglenook Alternative Schools for the arts. And I graduated at 20 because it took me some time to finish high school. I spent 2 years of my high school life inside of a group home program that was residential treatment program for mental health reasons and also like personal life issues. So I feel like that definitely added to why I am a bit of a late graduate and also why my name has such significance to me personally. Another reason why the name Bobby is spelled how it is, Bobbi, is because of Bobbi Althoff. She is a creator and podcaster who I really admire, specifically for her deadpan sense of humor and this way that she captures feminism and political justice through her podcast is very, very unique to me. She often talks to like celebrities, larger people in the limelight, people who have like higher sources of income, higher levels of fame, and yet she kind of knocks them down a peg in her podcast. She has this way of like really kind of treating people with a sense of humor and awkwardness and comedy, and treating them as if they are just as important as any other individual, right? She won't give special treatment. In fact, she might even comment on the fact that there is wealth inequality and stuff, and how oftentimes these celebrities she interviews are just completely unaware of some of the social class issues that she'll bring up in her podcasts and stuff. So I find that when I was watching her content, I really did like identify with some of those qualities that she was speaking on and talking about in her podcast, and kind of just bring to light amongst celebrities, because I think that dismantling the idea of always viewing these people of a wealthier class as idealized versions of humans is unrealistic, and it's not a positive outlook necessarily, because of the fact that there is such a large sense of wealth inequality in the world. And I really like her style and how she kind of likes to tease these people that she ends up talking to. So that is another reason why I landed on the name Bobby. Some of my themes that I like to talk about in my work that I create for school and stuff that I create in the art aspect of my life. Some of the things that I create for art are animations. I do visual art. I do some painting and watercolor. I specifically have been really enjoying Procreate and digital animating, or just digital art in general. And I would really like to delve into 3D animation the more that I go into this world of film mixed with art. And I definitely want to explore more on the film side of things. So some of the topics, and specifically some of the themes that I discuss in my work, kind of always have an underlining tone of culture, and specifically this goes in line with like North American culture mixed with like my mixed race roots. I am mixed race. I'm Sicilian and Filipino. So I feel like that sense of cultural difference that I see living in Canada compared to when I visited places like the Philippines impacts a lot of my work. The difference in like communication with people through different cultures, the difference in how people view you because of your culture and because of things like, you know, your outward appearance really fascinates me. Specifically, you know, themes around gothic culture and emo punk culture really interest me. And this idea of expressing yourself outwardly through music, clothing, all ties in to some of the themes in which I like to create in my art. Specifically, if we're going into themes and not just like general ideas, the themes that I follow are terror, spirituality and religion, mental illness, lust versus love, loss, desire, longing, humor, magic, fantasy, mystery, beauty and drag, empathy, politics and poverty, time, life and death. Those are just to name a few. And again, these pieces of media, I feel like really capture the essence of like genre and theme that I like to capture within the art that I create. So we have My Chemical Romance, which is a very, very theatrical emo band where they have very storyline based music that revolves around love and death and heartbreak that comes with losing someone you love, alongside topics of war. We also have Perfect Blue, which talks about, like, it's a psychological thriller, but it specifically speaks on psychosis and female empowerment, but specifically like some of the struggles that women face within the acting industry or film industry in general. And we also have Edward Scissorhands, which is Tim Burton, and he definitely, that character, and also Tim Burton is a big inspiration for me in terms of capturing those feelings of longing and sorrow, and just really visually telling the story of loss and empathy through visual, emotional characters that almost look like the emotion that they're trying to be portrayed as. Here's some of my previous works in animation. You can play it again. This is just a little loop that I made for my last animation class. And I don't know if you can tell so far, but I really love making my art have this pixelated feel to it. I used to do some animation on the 2DS, the Nintendo DS, and it specifically has this little mouse or this little pad to draw on, this little thing called Flipnote Studio that basically only can create pixelated style art. And it has this nostalgic feel and this reminder of the past and the people that used to be on there, the fun environment that used to be on there. And then I like to mix that pixelated style with some of these darker themes of like spooky characters, like odd and fascinating like things I can morph with like the body and stuff like that. That's something that's really interesting and fascinating to me to explore in art. And I think it creates a very interesting visual display. That was just a little skull animation that I made as well. As you can see, I am also still working on kind of understanding how to not make my work like glitch as much. And I do feel like sometimes I do like end up having too many lines, like a little bit too much line work, and I focus too much on some of my perfectionist tendencies. So I'm trying to work on making my art a little more simplistic while also having that like overall aspect of like the work being grand and defined. So I'm trying to find a good medium. And, you know, sometimes I do like to have my work be a little glitchy, like the last piece with the lady and the snake, right? That was kind of purposeful. But other times, you know, with this one, it was, yes, I did have the jaw shaking, but I felt like the transition could have been smoother. So I'm just trying to work on making my animation flow more to make the pieces look more like they're really coming to life. That's something that I really want to practice and work on getting better at. This is a rotoscoping piece. that I made last year. Specifically, I made it from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is a film that I really, really enjoy. And it really talks about topics around drag and beauty. And it talks about drag and beauty and how it relates to not just the identity of genders, but the idea of like gender being not even needed to be specified. Like this idea that drag goes beyond gender. Like drag is not just a male only thing, it's not just a female only thing. It's something that is an expression of gender, what gender even means. So I really, really like that film and the topics that it explores. And I basically made this little rotoscope piece. Okay, for the next one. 1 second. All right, and for this class, this is my final piece that I made. And you can see it kind of follows topics revolving around magic and terror, alongside being a little silly. There we go. So we got the music in there. So next. Oh. Thank you, and I really hope you enjoyed some of the pieces that I displayed here, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye. Whoop.